Business Brain, episode 657 for Casual Friday, June 13th, National Productive Business Civility Day. I don't really know what that means. Yeah, whenever I researched it, it seemed to make sense. Actually, there's something more important that happens on this day. I'll talk about it in a second. 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, we crunch them, we dissect them, we use them to tune our business brains and keep on living our charmed lives. Sponsors for this episode include Shopify.com/businessbrain, where you can sign up for a $1 per month trial, and NordLayer.com/brain, where you sign up and get 22% off, and then you use coupon code BRAIN. Why can't I say that? And get another 10% off. We'll talk more about both of those in a little bit here in Durham, New Hampshire. I'm Dave Hamilton.
And here up in the foothills of the Sierras, I'm Shannon Jean. How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday and happy June 13th. 20 years ago on June 13th, I released my very first podcast episode with what became right? Mac Geek Gab. Yeah.
That's awesome.
The first episode we called TMO to go because we were running the Mac Observer, and I thought, it's the Mac Observer to go. And after we recorded and released that episode, my wife came up to me and she's like, you could have a better name. You should call it the Geek Gab. And I was like, wow, that's a great name. And so that's where I'm the one that foolishly added Mac Geek Gab because at the time, 20 years ago, Apple didn't have an iPhone or an iPod or whatever. That was it. So that's why it became Mac Geek Gab. But yeah.
And were they called podcasts back then?
They were. Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's right.
And there's an interesting, we released, June 13th was 3 weeks before Macworld Expo that year. In March of that year, Steve Jobs had gotten on stage and said that they were going to add a podcast directory to iTunes. Okay. And he spent like 15 minutes on stage talking about this upcoming podcast directory. It was a big deal. Like, that's a lot of time. Yeah. And so as soon as we launched the show, like on June 13th, 2005, I contacted everybody I knew at Apple and said, I want to make sure, we just launched the show, want to make sure we're in your directory. And this went on for a couple of days. And everybody, this is, of course, when Steve was running Apple, and everybody was like, oh, well, it's not me. And if I tell you and I'm not supposed to, then Steve might fire me in an elevator.
Nice.
And I'm like, what a dumb way to run a company. This is literally your CEO's pet project. He spent 15 minutes on stage in March about this. And so I thought, if I was running a company that way, I would want to know how dumb I was being. And so I thought, I know what to do. So I wrote Steve. I didn't tell him he was being dumb. Yeah. Because he and I had emailed a few times over things with Mac Observer over the preceding 9 years or whatever it was. But what I did tell him was, hey, we just started this show. I know podcasting's a thing. I want to make sure we're in your directory because I think we'd be perfect for your, the audience of iTunes users.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, my telephone rings. Hey, Dave, it's Keith. We run the iTunes directory for podcasts. I just got your email that you sent us. I'm like, well, I didn't send it to you, Keith. Yes. I know who you got it from. And it was a and he said, you were already in the directory, but we took another look at your show. We're going to feature you on day one.
I love it, too.
And then they went on and said, but where are you hosting your audio? Because we don't want to feature you and have no one be able to download your audio. So they actually gave us a place to host it in iCloud for a little while while we sorted things out. Yeah, because they wanted to support the community. And
it brings it,
there's a valuable lesson here. Yes.
It is. And one of the things I always teach my clients, if it doesn't matter what companies you're dealing with, you need to connect with the executives at that business or the people at the business, beyond your normal day-to-day. So it could be as simple as going on LinkedIn and connecting with the people in, like, I help people a lot with, like, they want to start a business on eBay. And I say, great, what do you want to sell? Okay, car parts. We go to LinkedIn. The first thing we do before you even open your account, connect with the category manager in the auto parts section, right? Just to have that, you start to build up that, your network, right?
Yeah.
And then if you have a problem or a question, or you want to, even better, leave a compliment like, hey, I really love this. You don't want to ask for anything, but you want to be in the conversation flow so that you can reach out down the road. You never know where it's going to lead. And most people miss it. When I was selling handbags on Poshmark for that experiment, I connected with everybody I possibly could. And when I got invited to go to their building and meet everybody, I had my LinkedIn, like my phone, like, oh, hey, da da da. I met the CEO and I'm like, hey, Manish, I'm going to connect her down. He said, great, I'll connect with you here. So when I hit my first $1 million in sales, I messaged him and they were like, oh, we're going to promote your account. And we're going to send you a bunch of stuff and we're going to get you connected with Business Insider to write an article about you. It's just like you emailing Steve and getting that connection. You have to, but I think I've mentioned here, it's called like the third door, finding a way around.
We've talked about the third door here. Yeah. And the other valuable lesson that I learned that day was, because I already knew about the third door. Like Steve and I had already been connected. I, pestered him about something in the past or told him about something. Like, we communicated a little bit. But what I realized was, if you're someone in the middle of some company somewhere, in the hierarchy, in the middle, and you get a message from someone that says, hey, Dave is looking for you to do something. If that message comes from someone equal to or under you, it is assigned by you a priority. If it comes from someone above you, the exact same message, it is assigned a very different priority.
Yeah.
And the reason my phone rang 20 minutes later is because that message came from on high down to Keith, not from someone elsewhere in the company. Like, hey, man, if you want to deal with this guy, great. Otherwise, whatever. Steve said, it probably didn't say anything. He probably just forwarded the email.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah. But that's enough. That's all it takes.
And we talk on the show a lot about how you get to create your own reality. Well, this is one way you create it, is you build your own peer group. You build your own, infrastructure of people around you that can assist you at some time. But you may need to have that contact for years before it really plays out. You may want to be doing things for them and pointing out issues. You want to be in it. So don't live it with blinders on in your business thinking that, oh, I'm going to build this thing for nothing. You got to build this big thing around you. Everybody that is involved, everybody you touch should know you, and your name should be, if you emailed or called or messaged, you should be able to make that connection. It's really important.
Or already have that connection.
Yeah. Before you need it.
Before you need it. Absolutely. Yep.
Yes. Like you should connect with Dave and I.
Go on LinkedIn right now. Yeah,
of course.
We've had hundreds of you connect with us over the last couple of weeks since the last time we talked about the third door and said, do this. Absolutely do this.
Keep doing
Absolutely. It. Yeah. We want to hear from you. Right today, we're excited to hear from you because you're a listener to this show. That's valuable to us. That means you are giving us something simply by connecting and saying you're a listener to the show. It's feedback. We feed on that.
Exactly.
Someday down the road, a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now, you might need something from Shannon or me. And then you ask, and I'm like, oh, I remember that guy. He's a listener to the show. That was Susie. Okay, what can I do for you? Yep. That's it. Yep. Exactly. We have some AI stuff to talk about. The next thing I want to talk about is our two sponsors. Because look, when you're building a business, it can feel like you're juggling flaming swords while riding a unicycle across a tightrope made of tax forms. Been there. And of course, one of the only things that's made that act feel even remotely manageable is our sponsor, Shopify. I use Shopify with my other podcasts to sell merch, and candidly, it's like having a full-on e-commerce department in my pocket. Storefront design, done. Inventory management, easy. Marketing emails, Shopify makes me look like I've got a Madison Avenue team on retainer. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. That's not just big, it's cosmic. From household names like Gymshark and Mattel to entrepreneurs like us, grinding it out every day, chasing that charmed life dream. Oh, and that purple Shop Pay button you love when you're shopping late at night in your pajamas, that's Shopify too. It's why their checkout converts better than anyone else on the planet. That's why that sound keeps happening. Turn your big business idea into ka-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/businessbrain. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain, shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. And while I have you here, you ever secure your business network so well that it practically whispers sweet compliance into your firewall? No? Then you haven't met our sponsor, NordLayer. In the time it takes me to steep my mint tea, I could deploy NordLayer across my entire team. No hardware, no IT drama, just toggle and go security that's built for entrepreneurs like us who are out there creating opportunity and don't have time to be worrying about ransomware or shadowy Wi-Fi goblins. It's built on the same standards as NordVPN, but NordLayer is for businesses. You get threat protection, device health monitoring, and zero trust access, all running smoothly across macOS, Windows, iOS, even Linux if you're feeling spicy. And scaling, add users faster than I can say AI-generated revenue stream, which, of course, if it's FridAI, we say all the time. So grab your charmed life by the firewall and head to nordlayer.com/brain. That's where you get our exclusive offer up to 22% off NordLayer yearly plans. Plus, you get 10% on top with the coupon code BRAIN. So nordlayer.com/brain. Use code BRAIN for an extra 10% off, risk-free with their 14-day money-back guarantee. Secure smarter, grow harder, stay charmed, and our thanks to NordLayer for sponsoring this episode. All right, it's FridAI. AI, ChatGPT, it needs credit for grab your charmed life by the firewall. That is a brilliant line, and I did not come up with it. ChatGPT helped me do that.
That's really great. Hey, I want to talk about Claude. I don't use it. I've used it, but not very much. And I have a guy that I work with on X that I actually have known for a while. His name is Nick Hulinski, and his X handle is at co-founders Nick, N-I-K, and you can find this link at businessbrain.show, of course, in the show notes. And I'm going to kind of go read this thread really quick, and then we can talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, go.
So Nick posted. He said, "Hey, I thought I was cool hiring an assistant, but they still couldn't fix my chaos. Claude did. No team, no meetings, no management, just one prompt. Here's how I'm turning AI into my personal assistant." And then Nick says, "First, I plugged Claude into my calendar and my email. No code, no fancy automations." This is amazing. "I connected Gmail, connected my calendar. I asked Claude, how many unread emails do I have? Claude told me I had 201. Okay, cute trick, but what can it tell me about my calendar? It gave me times, topics, who I was meeting with. But the thing that blew me away was the last question. Is there anything specific about these meetings you'd like me to help you prepare for?" Claude said back to Nick. And so Nick says, "I use this prompt. Act as my personal assistant. Every Sunday, help me plan my week. Every morning, tell me what matters that day." What I got back, a framework for building a personal operating system. Claude offered to help me build my own personal manual with my work style, decision filters, goals. Then it gave me decision frameworks I actually use, like barbell, regret minimization, inversion. And not only that, it gave me a checklist and a calendar. Week 1, personal manual. Week 2, morning check-ins. Week 3, Sunday planning. Week 4, relationship tracking. It was like hiring an assistant, but with the blueprint. And so this, I think, is great. And I would like to build this for myself. I could totally use it. I have an assistant and I have them in my calendar, but I would love to get this reviewed and figured it out. And I thought this was a great prompt that we should talk about.
Oh, yeah. And I did not realize that Claude has, for anyone on any paid plan with Claude.ai, there is a Gmail and Google Calendar integration available. So ChatGPT needs to jump on this because I've been wanting this for a long time. I want to give ChatGPT or whatever my AI assistant is. I want to give it access, and I say this with my eyes wide open. Same. I know that there are privacy concerns with this, and as much as I say I want to give it access to my email, I'd really, before I did that, I would have to stop and think, okay, I'm okay with my private information being pushed up there.
Everybody else's.
But I have, I don't have, I'm not an accountant, so I don't have a fiduciary duty, but
yes.
I have something very akin to that, like a bunch of NDAs that I've signed, Good question. So I need to figure that part of it out and figure out how to filter that part of it out. But
yeah.
I want to be able to have the assistant do what Nick is talking about.
Same. I want it to help guide me into more efficient use of my time, into more productive interactions with the people that are waiting to or something from me. And, I love this concept of, okay, like this is what I do. I look at my calendar at night. Okay, what's coming up tomorrow? How do what happens and get alerts? So I think it's a great
it's not, it's a much more systematic approach to the same prompt that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. And I can't remember the woman's name that I found on LinkedIn, where she literally once a week I guess hers is systematic too. This is just more integrated, I should say.
Yeah.
But where she took a picture of her day planner and said, I don't have enough time tomorrow to do all of the client work that I have on this list. Prioritize with me, for me, whatever. Like that kind of thing, also very helpful. And so there's a world here where you can maintain that, you can respect that fiduciary duty you might have for whatever reasons while still being able to do this stuff.
And I think I just, this is where I'm disappointed that we don't have this, because we're in the Apple ecosystem. This is just the kind of thing I want Apple to do for me. Keep it private, but give me the benefit. And why can't we get that? I don't want transparent icons. I don't. I've had that. Didn't we have that before in some sort of bubble OS or something years ago?
It's Aqua and all over. It's Aqua revisited.
And I didn't watch the keynote. I didn't see it, so I don't know what the other things that are really cool.
No, there are some cool things.
I'm sure there is.
But not in terms of the best things for me in terms of AI, and I'm saying AI for artificial intelligence, not AI Apple intelligence. But the best things regarding AI that were mentioned in the keynote were the better integrations with ChatGPT and or Claude, because there are some things that you can do. You can now tap into either Apple's private cloud or ChatGPT directly from shortcuts, which may like that. This may get us where we want to go, right? This may be the path. The other thing is all of Apple's developer tools now have essentially vibe coding support. They didn't call it that, but they sort of did. Yeah. But not using Apple intelligence, using ChatGPT, just like Copilot does, because of course, like, of course. Yeah. So
I too want to have this integration into my life. It'll make me, I just see how I use the AI stuff every day with other aspects. And I know that it will be a huge improvement for me.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, man.
Hey, and I also, before we go, I just want to mention, if you're listening, which is like, I don't know, maybe it's 98.3% of the people versus watching. If you want to watch the live stream, we live stream typically, today it's Tuesdays, but typically it's Mondays at around like 1 p.m. Pacific time. And you can watch us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X. And so if you ever want to chime in, and you can also reply to us live while we're during the show. If you have a question, if you don't want to send an email, we'd love to hear from you, to watch the live stream, or feedback at businessbrain.show. Love to hear from you. Absolutely. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Come check us out. Communicate with us somehow. Connect with us on LinkedIn. Comment on the live stream. Comment on YouTube. Comment somewhere. We want to hear from you. We love it. Thank you. And have a great weekend. Keep on living that charmed life. See ya. And we're out.